Okay, so number one on the sheet. Again, it's a complex circuit. Again, you have to figure out which resistors to put together to make it either a pure series or a pure parallel. The trick to figuring out which route to go is to see what the current does when it leaves the battery. If it goes through a resistor first or at the end before splitting, it's going to end up being a series circuit. If it splits first, like this one did, then it's going to end up being a pure parallel circuit. Okay, so see down here, you might say it splits first, so it's going to be parallel, but look, then it comes back and it all goes through, all the current goes through a single resistor. Okay, whereas up here it splits and it never goes, the total never goes through a single resistor. So here the total is going through both R1 and R5. This is going to be a series circuit. It splits at this spot. These three are in parallel with each other. We can put these three together. Okay, so our simplified will be R1, R2, 3, 4, and R5. So R1 stays as 4 ohms. R5 stays as 6 ohms. And we can find, is it just my eyes or is this blurry? Yeah, that's better. We can find our 2, 3, 4 by doing 1 over. So 1 over our 2, 3, 4 will be equal to 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3 plus 1 over R4. So 1 over R2, 3, 4 is equal to 1 over 4 plus 1 over 6 plus 1 over 12. So the common denominator here is going to be 12. So 3 over 12 plus 2 over 12 plus 1 over 12. So that's 6 over 12, so that's 1/2. So R2, 3, 4 is going to be equal to 2 ohms. My pen is dying. I think this one's also dead. We'll find out. All right, so now we fill in what we know. We know our total is 120 volts. We know R1 is 4 ohms. R2 is 4 ohms. R3 is 6 ohms. R4 is 12 ohms. R2, 3, 4 is 2 ohms. And R5 is 6 ohms. So now we can get our total because this is 2 ohms. So 2 plus 4 plus 6, our total is 12 ohms. So we have 12 ohms, 120 volts. I total is 10 amps. So now we look at our most simplified circuit. It's a series, and in series, current is the same. So I1 should be equal to I2, 3, 4 should be equal to I5, should be equal to I total. So this is going to be 10 amps, 2, 3, 4 is going to be 10 amps, and 5 is going to be 10 amps. So I2, I3, and I4 are 10 amps, just I2, 3, 4. All right, so now we can get our voltages. This will be 60 volts, this will be 20 volts, and this one will be 40 volts. When you add them together, you'll get back your 120, so you did it right. So now we look at what we replaced. We replaced 3 resistors that were in parallel, and in parallel, the voltages are the same. So V2 should be equal to V3, should be equal to V4, should be equal to V2, 3, 4. So this 20 volts should go here, here, and here. 20 divided by 4 is like 10, it's like 5 amps. 20 divided by 6, 10 over 3, so 3 1/3 amps. 20 divided by 12, 10 over 6, 5 over 3, so 1 2/3 amps. And you're done. And like I said before, do a little rundown. None of the voltages should be bigger than 120. None of the currents should be bigger than 10. They aren't. You did fine. All right, then we move to number 2 on the sheet. Now, number 2 on the sheet is going to be the first one where you're going to need to simplify in 2 steps. Hopefully by now, okay, so it's all going through R1, but then it splits. So 2 and 3 are in series with each other, but they're in parallel to 4 and 5, which are in parallel to each other. So in your first step, you could simplify this, leave R1 where it is. This becomes R2, 3. And this becomes R4, 5. Okay, so R1 is still 2 ohms. R2, 3, you can just add them together, so 8 plus 12. Sorry, 8 plus 4, 12 ohms. And R4, 5, you're going to have to do 1 over. Okay, so 1 over R4, 5 is equal to 1 over R4 plus 1 over R5. And it's 4 and 8. Can't get much easier than that. 1 over 4 ohms plus 1 over 8 ohms. So common denominator, I think it's 4 and 8. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. Common denominator is 8, so that's going to be 3 over 8. That worries me. So 1 over R 5. I thought my numbers should have been prettier than that. Oh, it's 9 and 18. It's too bad I can't make out my own writing. That's good. I knew my numbers should have been nicer than that. All right, so let's try that again. It'll be 3 over 18. R4, 5 will equal 6 ohms. Okay, and now these two, this is not simplified enough yet though. These two are in parallel with each other, and so we need to simplify again. So then it looks like R1 and R2, 3, 4, 5. And this is R1, which is still 2 ohms. And so to get 2, 3, 4, 5, we need to do 1 over again. So 1 over R2, 3, 4, 5 is equal to 1 over R2, 3 plus 1 over R4, 5. So 1 over 12 plus 1 over 6. 3 over 12. 1 over 4. So R2, 3, 4, 5 is going to equal 4 ohms. So now we can fill our numbers in. V total, I think, is 18 volts, if I can trust my own writing. R1, 2 ohms. R2, 8 ohms. R3, 4 ohms. R2, 3, 12 ohms. R4, 9 ohms. R5, 18 ohms. R4, 5, that's really a 5 there, 6 ohms. And I missed a column. It will be V2, 3, 4, 5, I2, 3, 4, 5, and R2, 3, 4, 5. And this guy will be 4 ohms. Okay, when we look at our most simplified circuit, we can find our R total. It's in series, so we can just add them together. 2 plus 4 is going to be 6 ohms. We're going to run out of time here. If you didn't get this one, maybe stop now and see if you can. Well, this will be 3 amps. Our most simplified circuit is in series, and in series current is the same. So I2 should be equal to I3, 4, 5 should be equal to I total. I said I2, but it's really I3. So this will be 3 amps, which will make this voltage 6. And all the way over here, this will be 3 amps, which will make this voltage 12. So then we say, and our next one up, okay, 2, 3, and 4, 5 are parallel to each other, and